She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, here on the Dani Johnson Show, every day we have a different topic that really is centered around improving each area of your life. Today we're talking about work. It's Tuesday, so this is the Work Tip Tuesday. A lot of women, apparently, even after caring for their children and or they're not working in the workplace, so they're full-time moms and or caregivers of their elderly parents, and or maybe it was health issues that drew them out of the workplace, 90% of the women go back to work after doing those particular things that were important to them. Like I said, they raised kids, or they were taking care of elderly parents, or they had some health issues that took them out of the workplace. But as soon as those issues have passed, as soon as they're done raising their kids, or they no longer are needed for their elderly parents, well, they go back to work. 90% of them. That's according to Harvard Business, which is really amazing. Now, when you think about it, every single day, women who stayed home, who were not in the workplace, now they've got to get out there and make it happen. I've worked with so many thousands of people, not just women, but men and women, who after a long period of time of not being in the workplace, how do they get back into the workplace? Some of them have had major challenges in actually finding jobs. Some of them managed to do it. Some of them didn't. We asked our audience today, of those, again, today focused on those who have been out of work for a while that now are heading back into the workplace. What were the challenges and how did you overcome those particular challenges? And so we're going to go over to the phones right now. We've got Laura Phillips from Alabama. Laura, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how long were you not in the workplace after you had your baby?
I actually went back to work shortly after having her, but then when she was in 5th grade, I came home and I was with her 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Nice. So was it difficult going back to work?
I kind of have a nefarious reason for going back to work. She was about to start high school, and Ron and I were in a really bad place, and I figured we would probably divorce when she got out of high school. And so I looked at the numbers, of course, and I said, wow, if I don't go back to work, then I will be 50 years old when she graduates and will not have worked for 8 years.
Wow.
So no one's going to hire that.
Wow.
So I went back to work.
Wow.
And I did run in, so it was kind of nefarious. So I figured, I had to be able to support myself after we divorced. That was what I figured.
Man, what a trip that you kind of had all that planned out.
Yeah. And actually later when he found out, he was crushed. He had no idea that was going on. So it was all actually in my own head.
Wow.
And yeah. So there were a few difficulties. I immediately was able to get an interview with the company I had worked with previously, but the people in the department I had been with had completely turned over. And so they didn't know me. They didn't know that I always had the highest marks, stellar marks, blah, 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 great employee, great whatever. And so I was put through the ringer as if I was, basically somebody right out of school. And I had already had over 20 years of experience. So that was a difficult interview.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you end up getting the job back with the company?
I did not, actually, because the people in that interview were rude and abrupt, and it turned out it was not something I would have wanted to work for. And I went to the gym, and I was sharing with a friend, and he was like, you know what? My company's looking to hire. Can we interview you?
Oh, wow.
Because he knew what I did. And so I went to that interview, and funny enough, after learning the lesson from the bad interview where they pummeled me with questions and were just rude, and this was a year before finding First Step to Success, I inadvertently did what Job Dawn tells you to do, but didn't realize I was doing it, and I interviewed them. And they did hire me, and I'm still with them almost 8 years later.
Oh, wow. And you're not divorced.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Which is good. So it sounds like you found some solutions on both sides, and now you guys have two incomes.
Yes. Yep.
Which is awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And good job as far as not learning from that first bad interview. Because here's what happens is, and I love what you said, is that sometimes we can get something into our head and we act on what's in our head. So like in this case, it's, oh man, I'm sure Ron and I are going to end up divorced by the time our daughter graduates from high school, so I better make sure I'm going to take care of myself and no one's going to hire a 50-year-old. Now, isn't that so crazy that it's in the mind of so many of us? It's like, oh, I'm 50, I'm not going to get hired. And we create a problem that doesn't even exist. And so are there cases where people, feel like they're not being hired because of their age? Sure. But to be honest with you, I'm an employer. I have employed people for 27 years. And in 27 years of employing people, their age does not matter to me. It doesn't matter at all. What matters is their attitude. What matters is their skill set. What matters is their attitude in prior employment circumstances. What matters is can they do the job? And also what matters is, are they humble? When they screw up, do they own their mistakes? When they because everyone's going to fumble. Everyone's going to make mistakes. No employer is looking for the perfect person at all. But it's just so interesting that we can get something in our head that says, okay, I'm the wrong race, or I'm the wrong gender, or I'm the wrong age. And we walk into an interview with all of that stuff. And that is what actually hurts us from getting the job. And then when we don't get the job, we turn around and go, it's because I'm 50. Or it's because I'm a woman, or it's because I'm black, or I'm white, or I'm Asian, or I'm this, or I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny. We all come in with our preconceived ideas, and then we sell those preconceived ideas, and then, exactly what we thought was going to happen ends up happening, which is lame. And I love, Laura, what you said, that that first interview was a bad one. So you learned from it, like, hold on a second, I wouldn't want to work for those people anyway. I want to see in the second interview, are you the people that I want to work with? And we talk about that so much in Job Domination, which is a powerful, powerful training system that you can find at DaniJohnson.com. Again, that's DANI Johnson.com. Job Domination. In fact, this is so interesting. Laura, your brother got a hold of Job Domination. And what happened with your brother with Job Domination?
Well, he was in a company that was actually laying people off. Mm-hmm. And he got a hold of Job Domination, and he started on his own, with the blessing of his bosses, going out to trade shows and marketing his company and finding new ways that they could be more efficient. And they actually ended up creating a new position for him.
Wow.
Because he was so good at it. And it was directly from what he learned from Job Domination.
Yeah. I had interviewed him one time, and he said he was next to be fired. He just knew he was going to be laid off. Yeah, he wasn't adding any value at all to the company that he had been employed by. And they were doing major layoffs, and he was on the list and just went, oh, gosh, I better figure out something else to do. So rather than complaining, oh, they're doing layoffs and I'm going to get fired, and, rather than keeping his head in the toilet, he got a hold of a new skill set through Job Domination and totally applied it. And right when you were just saying what he did, I just sat there and went, can I find one like that? Oh my gosh, that would be, that's a dream employee, man. It's like, gosh, I want to find one. I want to find 10 of those. As someone that has that kind of mindset, like, how can we make the company more efficient? How can we help the company grow? How can I step outside of the norm of what we're doing and bring in business from other places? Because so oftentimes that responsibility is always on the head of the owner. That's a lot of pressure on one person to try to figure that stuff out. So when someone else has that mindset, that's just a highly valuable person. Laura, I also know that you're in... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. He actually now works for the company I work for, and we are on the same team, so I get to see him every single day.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's brilliant. He is so brilliant. He's the kid who was boarding school.
Wow.
But is actually a genius.
Wow.
And it's amazing to see him in the leadership role that he's there, and everything that he has learned over the past 5 or 6 years as far as leading people and motivating people and edifying people. He is a dream come true. I mean, it is so amazing to work with him every single day. And, the big bosses there came to me and said, hey, we've got one person who doesn't want to hire him. But what do you say? And I said, I staked my reputation on it, and they hired him, and they are absolutely thrilled.
That's amazing.
He's a real blessing. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's absolutely awesome. So your entire family's been through first steps to success. Your siblings, your parents. How much debt has the total family paid off as a direct result of tapping into first steps to success?
Almost $1 million.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And saved marriages, as in your own. Your marriage was saved. People have increased their income.
Siblings.
Say again?
And 4 siblings who actually got their spouses from the skills that they learned at First Step.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Thanks so much, Laura, for sharing your story. We've got Amy Maria from Georgia. Joe, what about you? Are you one that is looking to get yourself back into the workforce and facing some challenges?
I actually am. I've been out of the workforce. I kind of feel intimidated now, but almost 15 years.
Yep.
I've been a stay-at-home mom.
What a blessing.
Well, you know, that's what we chose to do. We have 4 kids.
It's awesome.
Beautiful kids. So after the last caller, I'm really stumped now. I don't even know what to put on a resume. And so I just need some advice.
Yes. Why are you intimidated by what you just heard?
Well, because she was like, "Well, I don't want to be 50," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm almost 40. What am I going to do now?" I'm not even,
That's not a bad thing.
I never even thought about that, and then I'm like, "Whoa, hold on, wait a minute." By the time she does graduate. Woo, now you got me scared.
Well, first of all, this is what I got to tell you. I admire you that you and your husband made the best possible choice that you could, and that was to be home to train up the next generation. And that is hugely important. That is more valuable than making any money outside of the home. There is nothing more valuable than investing skill sets into your children and character and teaching them things like finances and work ethic and time management skills and character issues and the right attitude towards each other and all of those things that are so very important. So I really, really admire that has been your full-time career for the last 15 years. So you've actually gained a ton of experience in the area of raising children. And so when we continue back right after this break, we'll go ahead and give you some ideas about what you can do and what you can put on that resume. But I want you to think about right now, what skills do you have that you've gained from raising kids? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Dani will be back with more expert business, money, and relationship advice to help you live the uncommon life. More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities, and they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Faith, hope, love, and sometimes a good swift kick. You'll find them all here. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
It can be intimidating if you've made the choice to be home to do a much more valuable job with your kids. It's exactly where Amy Maria has found herself. Now she's looking at getting back into the workforce. And according to what some studies have shown, some people choose not to take on those who have not been in the workforce for a long time, which means that you're going to have to be set apart. You're going to have to position yourself very differently. And rather than being that person who, just kind of succumbs to that fear of what do I have to offer now that I'm done raising my kids, if you think like that, you're going to screw up any opportunities that you have in front of you. So Amy, welcome back. And Amy, you had just said something, and now I kind of want you to I want you to think back, because I told you that I've been an employer for 27 years. I've employed people. And whether or not they were a stay-at-home mom does not matter to me. What matters is attitude. What matters is skill. And if you really look at the skills that you've gained, and it could be because I'm a mom, right? And I worked part-time while my kids were being raised. And so I've developed entrepreneurial skills through the years. And so if you're a lazy mom, well, then you might have a challenge. But with 4 kids, chances are you're not the lazy mom.
Right.
Are you?
I did go to college. No, I've got college degrees. Mm-hmm. I've had home businesses. I'm definitely a creative entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But when I go to fill out the resumes, I draw blanks. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really have everything here, especially they want experience. They want that 3 to 5 year work experience.
Okay.
I can't jump that hurdle.
Okay.
What do I put?
Okay, well, hold on. Listen carefully. Mm-hmm. You heard Laura talk about job domination. Do you own it?
Yes. I do not, but as soon as we hang up, I will.
You will.
I'm determined.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because job domination is actually going to show you exactly how to take the skills that you do have and to position them in a way that proves your value. The other thing is this, is that there's also shows you in job domination how to cultivate relationships amongst your own list of resources to get you in the interview without the resume being anything that makes a difference. Okay. And so, but look at Laura's story, right? So Laura went back to the company that she worked with before. That interview was a flop, but then she's at the gym and she's talking to somebody, right? Mm-hmm. She's talking to somebody, which was a personal referral. It was a personal resource of her own. Okay, it's someone that she knew that worked out of the same gym that she did. And through that relationship, there came an interview. And so what does the resume matter at that point? Nothing.
Exactly.
So with a personal referral or with a personal connection, there is no issue with a resume. And so there's something that will show you in job domination about how to cultivate your current list of resources. And there's a script actually in there about how do you begin a conversation in that direction and fish. Like, hey, do you know of a corporation that's looking for anybody with these particular skills? Don't even say it's you. Just say, hey, do you know of who do you work for? What do they do? What are their needs? Find out who that company is, right? And then position yourself without talking about yourself. Well, do you know of a company that might be looking for somebody that possesses these skills? So what skills have you gained as an entrepreneur and as a mother?
I definitely would say commitment. I mean, let's just be real.
Commitment is an attribute. Okay, that's an attribute.
As far as skill set, I don't.
You don't know
exactly how to put.
Do you have any? Do you have any financial?
Honestly,
do you have any financial management skills?
Well, yes.
Do you have any budgeting?
Tight budget.
Budgeting skills.
Yes, we have. Yes.
Oh, really?
Because yes, we have to. We are on a fixed income. My husband's disabled.
Oh, well, hello. So listen to me. Listen to me. What you're doing is you're devaluing the skills that you have. So I asked you for skills, and you said, I'm committed. Like, that's not a skill. It's not a skill at all. It's not. But budgeting is. Budgeting is a skill. Okay. You have. So what other financial skills do you have? What about time management skills that you have? What about managing calendars of multiple people? Do you possess those skills?
All of that. I have 4 kids to go through. Like I said, my
Thank you very much.
Disabled. There's a lot of doctor's appointments. There's a lot of, I am on the go constantly.
Okay. So are you good at managing your time?
I am.
Then that is a skill.
Early.
That is a skill.
The first one up.
Girl, you have skills. Quit thinking you don't. That's my point. Okay. There are skills. What about communication skills? What about conflict resolution skills? You have those skills. What about management of other people? Management of multiple different personalities? Yes.
Well, considering I have children with autism and severe ADHD, I would say I definitely have that.
Even if you didn't. I don't have kids with that. And I have some management skills of the people of different personalities in my house and know how to motivate every single one of them. So that's the bottom line. So again, it's highlighting the skills that you have had to put into practice. Okay, can you work in a high stress environment? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So job domination, I'm putting you on hold. You're placing the order today. You're going to get that sucker and you're going to nail this out of the park. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more work tips here on Tuesday right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, First Steps to Success in Creating Dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in 2 completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know in my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com. Go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
And prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college. And I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role, and that I had actually taken my husband's, and it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what, we need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, you cannot enter into the workplace with excuses already. If you've got excuses, you're only going to hinder yourself from success. Today, on Work Tip Tuesday of the Dani Johnson Show, we're going to be obliterating the idea that, oh gosh, I've not worked for 12 years, I've been a stay-at-home mom, or, oh goodness, Dani, I've been taking care of my ill parents for the last 10 years. Now how do I go and get myself in the workplace? Well, listen, bottom line is you've got to have the right mindset going into it, and you've got to make sure to know how to position yourself for success instead of positioning yourself for failure. We've got Lindsay. We've asked our audience how they feel about the idea of heading back into the workplace and the intimidation that happens. You got to hear this. This is crazy. I kind of want to find the author that wrote this article. In a recent article by The Federalist, it says the author says employers are justified in paying moms less or deciding not to hire them. According to this article, these are the things that this person lists. I just want to grab this person and give them a piece of my mind right into their head. Number one, they say they may be rusty or not up on their professional skills if they have been out of the workforce for an extended period of time. Number two, they will prioritize family over work. Number three, they may be tired and not as sharp from long nights. Number four, they may want additional family leave. Okay, well, this person is an idiot, okay, because there's also others, okay, there's other circles of CEOs that specifically look for moms to hire for high-level management positions. So this idiot that wrote this, in my opinion, is completely foolish and is looking at the surface of things instead of looking at the bigger picture and the kind of skill sets that these women actually have. And again, when I hear billionaires, okay, who have led different types of training seminars and investment forums, who say specifically that they've actually looked for women to be CEOs who were mothers because of all of the multiple different different things and the multiple different facets of skill set they have to deal with people, managing time and budgeting. That these women know how to solve problems with little ones. And guess what? The adult ones at their office have the same stupid issues that the 3 and 4-year-olds have, that the 5 and 6-year-olds have, that the teenagers have. It's all the same stupid political nonsense, the griping, the whining, the bad attitudes, right? The few that actually want to succeed, and then the jealousy against the few who are actually doing a good job. That's all the same normal stuff. In fact, I also have to tell you about a teacher that now runs a $1 billion charity. A teacher who had no business running 300 employees. He had a classroom. That's all he was for 28 years. And today he is the director of a $1 billion charity. And he was recruited straight from a private school, okay, straight from a private school to come into this $1 billion charity. So do not let some yahoo fool who's just stirring up nonsense from some article saying why moms are not qualified. I'm going to tell you this is why they are. And I'll tell you why they are here too. Because they will prioritize family over work, which means that she's going to have longevity at work. That's what that means. That she actually holds her family up in higher esteem than her work. That means she's got balance in her mind. And because she's got the balance, therefore she's emotionally stable. It's the women that forsake their families for their work that are emotional train wrecks. It is those women who blow up at people. It's those women who have found their identity in work and money, which means they are neglecting the thing that is calling out to them, which is their womanhood, their motherhood, their wifehood. And when they're neglecting those things, they feel miserable inside. So when I say that a woman is going to prioritize her family over work, I'm like, hallelujah, right choice, smart choice, wise choice. And setting a perfect leadership example, and a woman that will do that and a father that will do that is somebody who actually has a standard for their life and they don't have a price on their head. So someone that has a price on their head is easy to manipulate. But somebody who actually values their personal relationships more than they value work, that is a stable person. That is a person I want working here versus the person who's willing to sacrifice everything for what? Stupid title, position, and money? What does that show? That shows that, wow, you don't value yourself and you don't value what is good. You don't value what is going to be sustaining for success in every area of your life. So whoever this person is, I want to give them a piece of my mind. Yes. We got Jena from Texas. Jena, are you in that space of like there's a gap, you've been home or you've been taking care of somebody else, and are you concerned about getting a job?
I've actually already moved past that.
Good job, girlfriend.
I took the gap, realized that getting a job was so incredibly difficult. There are some people hiring, but you lose out to a lot of the competition. So instead of trying to fit in the corporate box, just kind of blew it up and started my own company and hire those women now.
So you basically went, I don't need you, corporate America. I'm going to start my own corporation.
There is nothing that they're all doing that can't be done by a mom. And there's just not a reason to work 24/7 anyway. And I'm certainly not going to put that much effort in for someone else's dream.
Okay, what is your company? What do you do?
So my company is Warfare Marketing, and I run a marketing strategy agency.
Wow.
And we focus on digital marketing, but we've really brought in clients to make sure that their companies, like their families, are running holistically and everything works together.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good job, Jena. I love that that's what you're doing and that you hire those moms because they can manage it and they can handle it. We've got Lindsay from South Dakota. Lord have mercy, that's a cold place. Lindsay, welcome to the show. What about you? You got kids and you wanted to work. So what did you do?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit like Jena there, where, I saw what it was like living with little kids and going to a job every day, taking your kids to daycare. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to stay home with my kids. Yeah. So I actually focused on self-employment as well and kind of starting my own business on the side while I was still working. And then gradually worked that enough to where I could afford to stay home.
Wow.
And yeah, we've just that's been 3 years ago and never looked back.
Wow. Wow. So self-employment again. So it's the, hey, stick it to the man or the woman who has, no, seriously. Okay. So, and it's so funny because so many people just create this barrier and they're like, well, I'm not going to get hired because, but again, there's always an opportunity. There's always a way to flip it to work in your benefit. So obviously you figured that out. And obviously so did Jena, which is really, really awesome. Okay. We also have a video because again, we asked our audience to send us a video comment about this particular topic. And actually, this is a relative of mine. This is Aunt Beth, who raised 5 children, 5 kids, and the most incredible mother. I'm telling you, I got to witness her as a mom. She was one that I would interview often about her marriage and about being a mom and how to manage it all. And this woman actually encouraged me to stay married in times where I didn't want to. Yeah, those weren't fun. So check this out. This is from my Aunt Beth, but this is Beth Johnson.
This is Elizabeth, and I've been here for almost 17 years, and now I'm transitioning to the point my job's getting moved to Seattle in a year, and I'm not moving. So that's going to be a new thing for me, trying to find another job at my age, 60, and but I think I'm an awesome employee, so we'll see what adventure the God has for me.
No question that Elizabeth is an awesome employee. And then look at that. I mean, she's 60 years old now, and her job is moving off to Seattle. And she was a part-time working mom. And I'm telling you, this woman had hours that was crazy. And it's what that needed to be done to be able to make ends meet for the family. They had 5 kids. And so here's the reality. Yeah, you're 60 years old and you're facing, wow, the job is now moving to Seattle. You're not moving to Seattle. So what do? Well, the first thing that you do is you got to focus and sell the positive. You have to look at, it doesn't matter how old you are. And I just have to tell you again, I can't say this enough. As an employer, age is not an issue. For me, I've been employing people for 27 years. It's about attitude. And Aunt Beth, you have the best attitude. Oh my gosh. This woman, by the way, and this is like something I've taught again and again and again, and partially because of what I've seen in someone like an Aunt Beth and my Uncle George, which is what? They smile. They're always smiling. No matter what is going on in their life, no matter what kind of suffering is happening, whether it's a physical suffering or it's a family suffering, there's always a beautiful smile on her face. And I'm telling you, employers, that matters to them. That changes the environment of everyone that they're working with. Not to mention, it changes the environment with the customers and the clients as well, the public, because that smile is representing the brand of the business. And she's worked for the airlines for, gosh, I think 2 decades now. So I say to you, Aunt Beth, and all the rest of you other Aunt Beths out there, that your job is leaving town and or you're done raising kids. You're now 60 years old and you're thinking, who's going to hire me at 60? Don't be thinking that. It's which opportunity is going to take advantage of these skill sets. And you just got to sell those skill sets. Use job domination to position yourself and position yourself well, because you've got something to offer no matter how old you are. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
If you've ever wanted to make millions, change the world, be the voice for the voiceless, and have a blast doing it, then you need to spend some time with this lady right here. She's been doing it for years, and she'll show you how.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name's Derek, and this is my wife, Michelle, and we're the Holland Sheds. We live in Covina, California, about 45 minutes from here, and we're extremely honored to be able to share our story. And when we were approached about it, I was kind of thinking, well, where do I start? Where do we start? But I'm going to start a few years back before there was a Michelle and Derek. Actually, I was actually debt-free, and kind of going along pretty good. And then a funny thing happened. I got married, and I married into debt. And okay, we're going to do fine. We'll pay it off, and life will be good. But a funny thing happened was that didn't seem to happen. Yeah, and as a result, just kind of thinking it's going to happen, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and something always happens, and and the result is that debt doesn't get paid. So it starts becoming like an old friend. And then unfortunately the marriage failed, but I was able to meet Michelle, and we got married, and married into debt again. only now it's a little bit bigger, but at least the house that I had, this was during the housing boom, so used some of the equity in the house to pay that debt off, and okay, we got a clean state, let's go forward. And but in our early days in our marriage, we had some difficulty as far as being on the same page financially, and Michelle will share a little bit more about that. And I guess it's a good point for me to hand it over to her.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Like Derek said, honestly, you guys, the first 7 years of our marriage, when I came into our marriage, Derek he paid my debt all. And I ran our debt up 3 different times in the first 7 years of our marriage, you guys. I would have never imagined being in that spot. Derek didn't trust me. And it finally got to a place where, my gosh, I can't keep doing this. I was pretty much told to come to this event by a good friend of mine, and it was the best thing she could have said to me, because it's what I needed. I would have not have come had I not have had that charge and challenge that way. The moment I got here and we saw the war, I saw the war on debt, I said, this is it. This is our ticket. This is what's going to help us go to the next level. This is what's going to help us. You guys, we've since in 33 months, we have paid off over $159,000 worth of debt. We have money in savings. We have $300,000 in assets, income-producing assets. We continue to plug in. I was the first one to come, but immediately afterwards, I told my husband I couldn't wait. I called him. I told him about War on Debt. He immediately said, let's do it. We had some friends that hosted a War on Debt class there right after, and we went to it, and we found $502 worth of excess spending our first month, and we revisited our budget after that, and then we thought we were just broke, living paycheck to paycheck. We were overwhelmed. We felt hopeless. I never would have thought I would lose my husband's trust, and the techniques, the strategies that Dani Johnson teaches you guys helped us save our marriage, our finances, our communication. You guys, we started out with, my favorite product is spiritual equipping, and I know Darren has a favorite product.
We're on debt, and you think?
You guys, we kind of bought things one by one. However, you guys have a great opportunity outside that door, that table out there, where you can buy the whole DJ University curriculum, and you get almost $1,000, over $1,000 off. So you have either option, but that's a great opportunity for you. Don't let anything stop you guys. There is hope, there is life, and I'm very grateful and honored to be here. So without further delay, you guys, help us welcome back America's favorite millionaire and our mentor and coach, Dani Johnson.
In your face and in your corner. You've never had a coach like this before. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So, are employers justified in their attitude towards women or even men who have been out of the workforce for a long time and now coming back into it, whatever the reason is, whether it was a health issue or taking care of elderly parents or raising their own family, and now they're coming back in. Are they justified in that? And then what that does is it puts the person on the other side going, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be hired because, and again, what you think is going to be your reality. I can't say that enough today. What you think is how you're going to approach that interview. What you think is how you're going to approach the job. What you think is how you're going to approach life. And so the first thing is get your thinking straight, because that kind of thinking is only going to lead you into a bad set of circumstances, and that bad thinking is only going to produce the bad thing that you don't want to happen. So what if you looked at the good things that you have that you can offer? What if you position yourself in such a way that causes people to see what it is that you're positioning yourself with? Okay, and not only that, of course, there's the entrepreneurial way. And I love it that we've had two of the callers calling in today talking about, I said, forget about it. I'm going to go the entrepreneurial route. And they've done it. They've done it. Being an entrepreneur is challenging, but it's not impossible. And it can be hard sometimes, but so is work. The same exact stuff that you do at work is the same thing that an employer and an entrepreneur has to do at work. It is about this. Are you a self-starter? If you're a self-starter, you can nail the entrepreneurial thing. Are you hungry to learn? Then you can nail it. You can nail it. Self-starters hungry to learn. Guess what? You don't even have to know what you are passionate about. My second business that I ever started, I started my first one at 19 in an industry that I was not interested in at all. The second business I was in, I also was not interested in that industry at all. In fact, I was a failure of the industry. I was in the weight loss industry, and I was a chubby girl, and I wasn't losing weight from the product in which that the company was actually marketing and promoting. And so I wasn't even good for it. But I made $250,000 my first year. So I eventually figured out the weight loss thing. But anyway, we've asked our audience their thoughts on this particular issue and different avenues and different strategies that people have used. We've got Susan Whitaker from Ohio. Susan, it says that you took 16 years off to raise your family, and then what?
I took off. I stopped working in 2001, and I kind of dabbled in some at-home businesses, but I pretty much, I don't let grass grow under my feet. I ran my family, my kids, pretty much like a business. My husband and I, from the beginning, had a partnership. He earned the money. I ran
the house,
the money, and the calendar, the kids, the play dates, the food. I was his secretary. I did everything for him so that he could go out and earn the money. That was our plan, even before I started training with your products.
That's awesome.
And so then there came a time where we needed some extra money, and a gal in the community that I'm in said, you have the skills to go get a job today, and you need to go do that. And so I did. I got a job that day.
Wow.
And the next, I walked into a retail store, and I said, hey, are you hiring any Christmas help? And they said, well, yeah, actually we are. And while I was waiting for that interview, I humbled myself, and I went and I drove 30 minutes to a friend's house for $8 an hour to sew quilts for her, and then got the job at the retail store with more hours, and then I got another job with more hours. And then my husband, about a year and a half ago, said, you know, you've been doing this training, and I think your personal relationship skills have really improved, and I've been telling you you'd be good in real estate, and I think now is the time.
Wow.
And I've learned over the years that he has this wisdom from God, and when I listen to him, I'm blessed, and when I rebel and push and nag and bully, I pay for it.
Yeah. I just had one of those shivers go up my spine.
And so I listened. In my gut, when he said that in San Antonio, I realized he is right, and I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it. And so I got my license, and a month later I was invited to join a couple of different real estate teams, and what I found was I knew that learning how to motivate my kids, and I'm still not even really good at that yet, but I've learned enough to motivate them that motivating adults is a piece of cake.
It is!
And I organized like have three teenagers, and his calendar and our family calendar and my calendar and now my work calendar. So I feel very confident in what I can do. So I don't buy this baloney about I'm old, I'm in my 50s, and I've got nothing to offer. I have a lot of wisdom to offer. And Amy, I was listening to Amy, man, girlfriend, you need to take a step out of the box and look at yourself as an employer would, because if you can run a household with kids with problems, managing a team, that's nothing.
Yep.
So I've had my first year in real estate. God has completely blessed me. I was invited to join a team of a man that I've known for 20 years, and it's just been a huge blessing to our family. I feel like I'm exactly where God wants me to be. It's flexible enough I can still be with my family when I need to be. And I'm making a lot of money, and I see other mega agents eyeballing me, wanting me to join their teams.
I love it. This is awesome. This is awesome. You know what I think is so incredible is how you saw yourself partnered with your husband. This is something that we teach at First Steps to Success, like that your family is a business. And it really is. Yes. It's a business. He's the CEO. You're the president. You both are co-founders of that family. And when women see it that way and the husbands see it that way, then it's really easy to figure out who is going to manage what responsibilities. And they're responsibilities that have to be managed, just like in an office. The toilets have to be cleaned. There has to be toilet paper in an office. The office needs to be clean and organized. Someone needs to manage the calendar. Someone needs to motivate the employees. Somebody needs to manage the finances. So it's, when you have a small business owners, sometimes they have to do the accounting, the cleaning, the management, the recruiting, the delivery, the packaging of the items. They have to do it all when you're a small business. And when you begin to bring on other partners or employees, that's when some of those duties start getting disseminated out to other people, i.e. you get married and now you have a co-founder of the business with you, right? So then, okay, we're gonna disseminate those responsibilities, and so your husband's the one bringing in that cash, and so then you had to then raise these kids, and you also turned them into employees because now you're not the only one scrubbing toilets, and now you're not the one picking up after them anymore, and now they all have responsibilities, and so it's all the same stuff in a company. It really is all the same stuff in a company, and I'm really proud of you guys that you had that mindset all those years ago. And then you also understand that the CEO has some wisdom, and he's seeing some skill sets in you and saying, hey, it's time for you to get promoted. And here's an avenue for you to make money, and you're making lots of money in real estate. And you didn't use the excuse that I'm in my 50s and I can't do anything. Oh, I love it, Susan. You rock. You freaking rock. You were like the perfect person to call in to say to anybody who's using, again, their age as an excuse not to go for it. And you have gone for it. I love it. How amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, hey, anything's possible, and it doesn't matter what your age is. And just look at her. She knew the value of the skills that she had. Do you know the values of the skills that you have? And that's what you got to enter in the workplace with. That's what you entered in. So often people think that the duties that we have at home are nothing. We think that those responsibilities are not valued. They are highly valued, and they're training you up for something even greater. Yes, like a legacy for the family and maybe a legacy for a business. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success. Helping you become all you were meant to be. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
A mother's penalty? Really? Check this out. According to the New York Times, there is a mother's penalty for women who have kids and go back to work. They are seen as less competent, more flaky, easily distractible on the job. Employers believe mothers will take more time off, are more likely to need time off and short notice, and are less likely to prioritize their work over family. I think it's pretty pathetic that anybody would want a mother to prioritize her work over her family. That just goes to show you the values of those particular companies. On the flip side, those mothers of children should not use their children as an excuse. They should not in any way be flaky, and they should, while they're at work, use priorities in the right order. So when you're at work and you're making that commitment to that employer, then you need to prioritize your time and become more efficient there, more focused there, and more deliberate there, and make yourself shine in the workplace better than everyone else who doesn't have kids. There are women who do, and I don't even think it has to do with women, because men do the same thing. There's a ton of men at work that are unfocused. There's plenty of men that take time off for their family. Give me a break. So this isn't a woman thing. This is a human thing. And the bottom line is there are people out there in the workforce that are lazy, they are flaky, they are uncommitted, and they are distracted. And it doesn't matter if they're a mom or not, or a dad or not. It doesn't matter if they're a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. Those people are who they are, and those people don't last no matter where they're at. But it is those who know how to prioritize their time and bring high value and are able to be committed. And if you've got something coming up with your kids, then you need to learn how to manage your time better and to communicate better. And the bottom line is this, is if you are producing high value for the organization you're working for, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that you are able to keep your priorities straight, and your family being one of them. And there's plenty of companies out there just like ours that have a value of you valuing your family and you valuing your time. There are companies out there like that, and you can find them. They exist. And I know they do because we are one of them. So anyway, so if you're a flake, it doesn't matter if you have kids or not. Stop being flaky. And if you have kids and you know that that's how some people might perceive you, then you better shine brighter than everybody else that is there. Use job domination, friend. Don't be stupid. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, here it is. This is First Steps to Wealth. There's 2 chapters in here about being an employeepreneur. And so for the time and effort that you're putting into your work, you want to do it as an entrepreneur. You're gonna increase your value there. And this is a free gift. If you go to our website right now, you can download a free copy of it. It's DaniJohnson.com. By the way, have you joined us on our podcast? We've got a weekly podcast set aside for you. Just download the app in your smartphone. You'll be able to catch the show, catch the podcast on a weekly basis. And then if you found us on YouTube, make sure and subscribe to the page so you get notifications the next time we're going to be talking about money or family or work tips. If you thought today was helpful for you, please share today's show with people that you know. God bless you, and we pray that you have an awesome rest of the day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.